The Nancy Guthrie case, it's March 13th, Friday the 13th. The sheriff there made some statements either yesterday or the day before, talking to NBC News, that were kind of interesting, the collection of them together. When asked, should the public be worried that this person could strike again, he said yes, he thinks this person could possibly do this again, but he also said he thought it was targeted, and he thinks they have an idea what the motive would have been. So it's interesting to look at those three things together. It does seem to be leaning in the direction of random burglary gone bad, right? As far as the person could do it again. But then you ask, what about the targeting? If they believe it was targeted, does that mean the person knew who was in the house, the relation, for example, to Savannah Guthrie, that there was potential for money here? Does that still lead to leave the door open for kidnapping for ransom? It kind of does, but I've always been hesitant on that one because the ransom demand wasn't received until after the story of Nancy's disappearance was already in media, and the demand was sent to mass media. It still looks to me like someone who didn't know at the time the event occurred who it was, found out later, and decided to just toss a ransom demand out, partially to distract authorities and partially just to take a chance they could get some good money out of it. Because the authorities at the time, that first ransom demand, I believe they said they thought that one was legit because it mentioned some specifics of the scene. I don't know if that's still true or not, that was a legitimate statement on their part, but there didn't seem to be any follow-up to that at all. They never followed in on a request for proof of life, which would fit. They would be afraid of any further communication, afraid it would be tracking them along the way. So what is the other targeting aspect of it? A couple videos ago, I threw out one talking about how if you're going to profile someone in this case, you look at all the potential motives that you could come up with. And then you could put together profiles based on those motives and then see which one your data is fitting the best. For a moment, let's strip away the celebrity aspect of this one. What would the motive be, and why would she have been targeted if no one knew she had, was related to money or was related to a famous person? The motive could very well have been, and I think this would be the prime motive if you stripped away knowledge of any celebrity influence, that it's an elderly woman living alone in an affluent neighborhood, that would be the targeting, that the person was looking for that and didn't realize what they had until after it hit the news. I still do believe that she was probably deceased when she was removed from the house, that something happened in there, probably striking her to try to subdue her, and it ended up unintentionally taking her life. The person panicked, abandoned the robbery motive because of the need, the desire to get rid of the body, get rid of evidence that a murder had occurred there. Maybe even made sure there was a blood trail leaving away from the house, right? To make it look like she may have injured herself in the house, became disoriented and wandered away. But you wouldn't want to leave any further evidence of your presence there by taking things from the house. Now that theory could be completely blown out of the water if we ever get confirmation of things having been removed from the house. And I don't believe we've ever heard official confirmation that things were taken from the house that would indicate a robbery. But again, it would be completely kind of irrationally rational. That's a contradiction. That if the crime suddenly escalated, that the person would panic. In the two images we saw, that one we were told may have been days earlier where you didn't have the backpack, right? And then we were told later there was no timestamp. They could be at any time. The first one with the backpack could be entering the house. The second one without it could have been when he went out, moved his vehicle closer to bring the body out of the house. And that would have been when he snapped that camera off, going back in to make sure there was no video proof of the body being removed from the house. So a lot of things are still on the table. Given the sheriff's statement, I would be leaning more toward the idea that the motive was just an elderly woman living alone in an affluent neighborhood, and the intent was robbery, which is, again, why the person would still be risked to attempt this again. It also probably suggests the person is relatively local to the community, not someone coming from outside targeting areas.